How are your New Year's resolutions going? Have they been abandoned? Did you know that since Babylonian times, us humans have been setting New Year's resolutions? We pick a goal and we set out to change our life in some way, shape, or form. But by February, 80% of our goals have been completely abandoned. And the reason that we do this is self-sabotage. It's in every one of us to some extent. We do this to ourselves. We do this to our lives, to our goals, to the things that we want. And we do it in multiple different ways. I want to talk about this today because it affects almost every one of us. Every one of us. There's things that we want. There's things that we want to do. There's a life that we want to live, but we hold ourselves back and we hold ourselves outside of achieving these things. Today, I want to talk about why we do it, how we can stop doing it, how we can recognize the behaviors, because that's one of the most important parts, is becoming aware of the areas that you may be doing this to yourself. My name is Armella Shivers, and I'm a life and spiritual coach. And I talk about these topics every day with my clients, with women. I primarily work with women. And it's because these are the things that we have to address if we really want to heal our lives. If we really want to heal from traumas, from things that we picked up when we were children, from bad relationships, we have to heal these things if we want to change the direction and achieve new things in our lives, reach new levels. So this is the work that I do. I'm on a mission to help people heal. So let's talk about self-sabotage a little bit. What is it? Well, it is how we destroy ourselves in any which way, shape, or form, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Why do we do this? Well, there's multiple reasons that we do this. Most often it goes back to somewhere in our childhood when we picked up some idea or belief about ourselves that we just weren't good enough. Sometimes our parents give us that, or people that we look up to. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. They're doing the best that they can. Sometimes they give you the wrong message. And you take that into your life and you approach everything with that belief. Often when I'm working with clients, I have to get them to understand that they have a belief that they're not good enough. It's not something that we wear on our shirt every day, like we're aware of it. I have to pull it out of them so they can see it, and I show it. Why do we do this? Well, there's multiple reasons that we do this. Most often it goes back to somewhere in our childhood when we picked up some idea or belief about ourselves that we just weren't good enough. Sometimes our parents give us that, or people that we look up to. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. They're doing the best that they can. Sometimes they give you the wrong message. And you take that into your life and you approach everything with that belief. Often when I'm working with clients, I have to get them to understand that they have a belief that they're not good enough. It's not something that we wear on our shirt every day, like we're aware of it. I have to pull it out of them so they can see it, and I show it to them. And then we do the work of getting rid of it because it just is not true. We all have this story of how we're not good enough, how we're not smart enough or rich enough or skinny enough or whatever it is. We have to do the work to get rid of those things. If we want to reach a new level, if we want to attain these goals and we want to stay active in what we really want to do, what we want to achieve, we have to do some introspection back into our childhood, back into our upbringing. This doesn't mean that we point fingers and blame people for things that went wrong. It just means that we become aware of what may have happened, what was said, what was done. So we can choose to do something different. Another reason is we have a fear of failure. Who doesn't fear failing? That's human. It will keep us from doing things sometimes. It will keep us from starting that project or applying for that job or approaching that new relationship. Self-sabotage. I want to share some of the things and ways that we self-sabotage. Remember, it's anything that we do in excess. So it could be shopping. It could be drinking, using drugs. It could be emotional eating, eating our feelings when we just don't feel good, and so we reach for those sweets or the pizza or whatever it is. Medicating ourselves with prescription drugs. Pornography, gambling, smoking, binge watching TV, video gaming, procrastination on projects that have a deadline and we know it. We've got to get this done and we wait to the last minute to do it, or we don't do it at all. These are just some of the ways that we self-sabotage. Some other ways are negative self-talk. Boy, we can beat ourselves up good, can't we? Some people actually think it's motivating. It's not. Please stop doing it. Or we get into a chronic loop of negative thoughts about other people, about ourselves, about the world, you name it. Stress, anxiety, all of these things that just bring us down. It becomes chronic. These are some of the ways that we self-sabotage. Another reason that we self-sabotage is because we have a lack of confidence. Here we go back to that not good enough. There's something inside of us that says, I just don't think that I can do this. I just don't think I'm good enough. I just don't know. If the world sees me, they're going to reject me, and I can't stand the thought of that happening. So we turn to these self-sabotaging behaviors. It's important to know that sometimes we do this consciously. A conscious self-sabotage behavior would be eating that cake when you have a health goal, eating that food or drinking something that you know is not in alignment with what you really want for yourself. An unconscious moment of self-sabotage is something that you do that undermines your personal values or your goals, and you are not initially aware of what you're doing. It may pop up in this conversation that I'm having with you that you go, oh geez, binge watching TV is self-sabotage? Yes. If you sit and scroll on social media just nonstop and you find that you're wasting a lot of time out of the day, that's self-sabotage. You're avoiding something. Something needs to be addressed inside of you. So I wanted to talk about this with you today because here we are, it's February. Have 80% of you abandoned your goals? I hope not. I hope that you're just getting your second wind. And I'll come on here again periodically through the year and encourage you to do that because I'm a motivator. I like people motivating me. I like people holding me accountable. So I do that for others because it's love. It's the right thing to do. We're all in this together. So if you're on the verge of stopping what you've been doing, trying to achieve that goal, or you're just losing a desire, or you find yourself procrastinating or doing other things to replace what you need to do for your goal, take a second and reflect. Reflect where you may be picking up this thought, this belief that you're not good enough, or that you're scared to do it, you're afraid of failing, or you're such a perfectionist that you can't stand the idea of not doing something completely perfect, so you just decide not to do it at all. Think about that. If you want to talk about it, message me. I'll talk about it with you. Let's get rid of it. Let's make our goals happen. Let's have that life that we dream of, that we desire, that we want, that we need, that we deserve. Let's do this. Let's get rid of the self-sabotage. I hope you enjoyed this message. And if you did, please share it or tag someone. Let me know what you think. Are you self-sabotaging? Don't be afraid to tell us. I do it too. But I'm going to work on getting those things out of my routine. I love you guys. Until we meet again, take good care.